morning, everyone. My name is Carla, and you have reached my FlossTube channel, KarlaBeingCrafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but also other crafts that I enjoy and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is my FlossTube number 143, and it is Sunday, May 29th. So it's going to be our last video in May. I am at the tail end of my week off of work, my little staycation. And if you guys watched me last week, you know I had all kinds of plans of how much stuff I was going to get done. And, you know, I don't want to say nothing. I've done very, very little. First, I want to say welcome for those of you who are finding my channel for the first time. I hope you like what you see, want to hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff. For those of you who are frequent viewers, I was going to say stopper buyers. What is that? For those of you who visit my channel on the reg, thank you so much for coming back and spending this time with me and supporting me and my channel and all of my craziness with my crafting. I really appreciate it, and you guys, you know, make my life just that much better, knowing that you guys are out there and supporting me and stuff. So as I said, I did not do hardly anything this week. I had big plans, I had good intentions, but you know, what did they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, I didn't go to hell or anything like that. I've actually had a nice sort of relaxing week, but I feel like I'm always talking about my elements here because I'm old, people. So Sunday, when I talked to you guys last, I had just gotten back from Aaron and Stacy, so I was really tired, so I didn't do much on Sunday. You know, it was a relaxing day, right? And I was at the beginning of the vacation, so it's like I have all this time. Let's see. Monday, I had a doctor's appointment, so I went to that in the morning. You know, by the time I got home, it was like, you know, noon, afternoon. I had lunch. I did do some stuff on Monday. And then Tuesday, I kind of was like, oh, I don't really need to do very much today because I can just, I have the whole week, right? Wednesday, I was raring to go. I had all these plans and I started to go do something and I stood up and my knee collapsed. And I was talking to somebody about it on the Zoom, and I feel like I was having a sciatica flare up in my knee because it's the same side that I have had the back pain and everything like that. And I know it can go down your leg and affect different areas. And I think because it was the same kind of pain, so I couldn't comfortably bend or straighten my knee. If I sat still with my knee just bent, you know, slightly at a comfortable angle, no pain. But the minute I tried to stand up or walk, it was really bad. Like I had to think about it for half an hour before I was going to get up and go to the bathroom because it was going to be so painful. So, because this is not my first go round at this particular rodeo with the pain, I knew, you know, heating pad and Advil and time is what's going to make you feel better. Basically, I was out for the count on Wednesday and spent the rest of the time lying or sitting, and getting up only to go to the bathroom, basically. I did my little trick of when I had to get up anyway to go to the bathroom, to hobble into the kitchen and gather like a squirrel stuff on a tray and bring it to where I'm laying down so I didn't have to get up again. So I had peanut butter and crackers and that kind of thing. Thursday, I was basically in the same boat. For the morning, it started easing up in the afternoon, which was good. Still, and here I am Sunday, it's still painful. I don't have to grab things when I'm walking around, which is basically when I was going into the bathroom those first 2 days. It's like if I didn't have the walls and chairs and counters, I don't know that I would make it, because I needed something to support me when I was taking a step with my good leg, because I was just afraid that the bad leg was gonna collapse or something. I didn't want to fall. So anyway, I dealt with that for 2 days and I'm still, you know, dealing with it. when I was on the Zoom call yesterday, I was talking to my friend Dawn, and she recommended a topical, some kind of an over-the-counter topical cream that is supposed to be really good for sort of what, I don't remember what she called it, moderate superficial pain or something like that. And I know when my mom was having really bad like problems, she was prescribed something that was strong, and obviously I can't get something like that, but Dawn did say this over-the-counter thing actually was helping her. So I went ahead and ordered it from Amazon. It was supposed to ship yesterday, but it's running late. It's supposed to come today. So hopefully it will be a miracle cure, and I'll just rub a little bit of that on, and I will be ready to, you know, go do the cha-cha or something. But anyway, so all of this was to tell you guys that I did not get any of the chores around my house that done that I wanted to. So I did not relieve my chaos in that way, although I did rest and stitch, and I did get some progress on some, I guess some significant progress on a few things, which I will be showing you. I do have the rest of today to get some stuff done around the apartment, and I have tomorrow because it's a holiday, yay. But you know what? I'm just gonna take it easy, do what I can do a little bit. If I get motivated, fine. If not, I'll just try and do a little bit each day for the rest of my life until I get things to where I want them, and just not give myself grief about it, because yeah, there's just, you know, the point of taking this time off was to de-stress as far as work stress, and you know, it's never enough. I really feel like I could take a month off and still enjoy it. But it was nice to have this little bit of a breather. I'm going back to work on Tuesday. It's funny, I'm going back to work on Tuesday, but the other girl in the office, my coworker, her son graduated college last weekend, so they're taking him on a little cruise to, you know, Catalina, Mexico, Ensenada, that thing. So she's not gonna be in the office next week. So, which actually I'm fine with, because, you know, not that she creates any chaos, she doesn't, but just sometimes being more alone in the office is actually enjoyable for me. It's just quiet, and I get more done, and, you know, yeah. And I have been picking her up every morning, so I won't have to do that for a week, which, you know, is nice. So, yeah, so that is how my week has gone as far as the chore front. So yeah, not as I planned, but I guess I should have saved that title about you make plans and the universe laughs for this week. But you know, that's how it's gone. I haven't worked on my little golden books at all, so there won't be an update on that. Although I have big, you know, things brewing in my head, but I have to get back into little golden book mode, and maybe I'll do a little bit of that today or tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not like making promises to myself or anybody that I'm going to get stuff done, because I'm just kind of going with the flow, which sometimes is a nice way to be, I think. So anyway, so that has been how my week has been going. I have been staying up a little bit too late. I'm going to really try to not do that tonight and tomorrow. I want to get back on a more realistic schedule of going to bed at a more reasonable time and getting up early, because I have to for work. I think if I had, you know, my perfect schedule, I would go to bed around 2 and get up around 10, and that would be exactly perfect for me. I don't want to sleep in all day, and I don't want to stay up all night, but I don't tend to want to go to bed at the time that would be good for me to go to bed when I have to get up at 6:30. So I'm always just a little bit behind on sleep, because I don't want to go to bed at like 10:30. I just don't. But trying to get into sleeping mode before midnight would be good, and I haven't been doing that this week. So maybe tonight, have to tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. So we had our Zoom call on Friday for the month of May, and it was very enjoyable for me. I was on actually quite a bit extra. I started the Zoom at 3 o'clock my time and closed it. It was close to 8. We had a nice group. You know, people slowly left the meeting, as you would expect. Dawn hung out with me for the entire time, so thank you, Dawn. It was so nice to be able to visit with you. And then what was fun is that after everybody kind of was like leaving, I got somebody who came in. So Candy came in and spent the last couple hours with Dawn and I chit-chatting. So it was really fun. We talked about all kinds of stuff. We talked about stitching, and we talked about Bridgerton, and we just, you know, chit-chatted like we do on these Zoom calls, and it was really fun. And I really appreciate all of you guys who have joined me on those Zooms. What word was I looking for there? So yeah, I haven't set a date for the next one for June yet. I need to look at my calendar and see what's happening with the rest of my world, and then I will set it and put it, you know, announce it. So yeah, again, just thank you guys for joining me. I had a good time, and it was really nice to actually have kind of an extended stitching session. I didn't actually, usually I do the Zoom here at my desk. I knew I would not be comfortable, so I set up actually a cardboard box with my computer, my laptop on the box at the end of my daybed, and I just sat up and, you know, with my legs stretched out, which is my most comfortable way to be. And yeah, and so I had no problem stitching for 5 hours. Yeah, so it was really fun. Somebody asked me on the Zoom call, like, how much time do I have to stitch? And it almost, I have to say, it almost made me feel guilty, because I know I have the luxury of time that a lot of people don't have, because I mean, you know, it's a give and take, right? So there's certain things that I don't have in my life that are a joy to have, and I don't have them, but that gives me extra time. I live alone. I have no children. I have no significant other, which means that my time is not beholden to anybody else. I don't have to come home and feed anybody except for Baggy, but he's pretty easy to feed since it's a scoop in a bowl. I just have to feed myself. That can be elaborate, which it hasn't been for like a good year, or it could be throwing something in the toaster oven, or it could be making a quick salad. So usually feeding myself is not that trying of an endeavor. I don't usually do a bunch of chores in the evening because, to be quite honest, by the time evening rolls around, I'm tired and I don't feel like doing anything that's going to require a lot of energy, mental or otherwise. So yeah, so I'm not really beholden to other people for my time. So basically in the evening, once I decide to pick up my needle and thread, I have several hours to stitch. I don't always pick up my needle and thread that quickly. Sometimes I get home and all I want to do is just start stitching. Other times I just don't feel like it for a while, and I don't pick up anything until 8 or 9 at night. Sometimes I sit down and do other crafts for a little while, little golden book stuff, or sometimes diamond painting, which I haven't done in quite a while. And I enjoy all of it. So, you know, so I do have a lot of time to do that. So if when I'm showing my stitching on the weekend, you think, you know, how'd she get that much done? Although it never seems like that much to me. So I don't know, I guess it's all relative. That's why, because I have a lot of time and I don't have kids that I have to take care of or drive around or food to make for anybody but myself. So I have that luxury of being self-centered, and I don't mean self-centered in a negative way. I mean that I can do what I want to do for myself. It's nice. It's a nice way to be. It's also sometimes it's lonely. I don't have kids, and I don't have the significant other to snuggle with or watch TV with or have discussions with, but I do have my stitching, and so I can devote a lot of time to it. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Oh, two things I guess to mention. One is fantastic. One is very, very sad. My nephew Logan, who is my oldest, the child that made me an aunt, is going to be graduating from 8th grade this coming week. Oh my God. I cannot believe how much of a little, I should say, I was going to say little man, but that sounds very condescending. He is very much a young adult, and it is freaky every time I see him and realize how much of a young adult he is. He's the cerebral one. Not that you need to label people or anything like that, but you know, of my three niece and nephews, they are, first of all, they get along like great. They're the most loving brothers and sisters. Not that they don't fight, they fight constantly, but they are very loving and supportive of each other, which is fantastic. But he is definitely very much like my brother in the way he thinks and the things that he likes, and his just how everything is very cerebral. Like, I was talking about this on my Zoom. My brother, I love my brother. My brother is one of my favorite people in the world. He is very cerebral, and he approaches everything in a very sort of cerebral way. Case in point, he has taught himself how to play the guitar this year. He started around Hanukkah time because Hudson expressed an interest in learning the guitar, so they got him a guitar. You know, as most times with little kids, that interest didn't last very long, but my brother started learning on that guitar and was using a YouTube teacher, and has just progressed. And then for his early birthday, and I don't know if it was an anniversary gift or early birthday or whatever, he got himself an electric guitar. So he is teaching himself how to play the guitar. He's practicing every day. But it's funny because he'll talk to me about it, and I know how to play the piano. I took piano lessons for 8 years or 9 years when I was a kid. I do know how to read music from piano. But Aaron will start talking to me about like music theory and chord progressions and all of this kind of stuff that honestly I have no knowledge or interest in. And it's just like, it's like he's talking a foreign language to me, and this is a language that I'm supposed to know something about. But that's how my brother approaches stuff. He does stuff very, you know, thinking about it and thinking about music theory and applying that to how, you know, to learning to do something. And it's just very funny because it's just how he approaches things. But Logan is very much like him. They have very similar tastes in like media, and my brother is now showing Logan selected Star Trek episodes from all of the series, and selected because it just would take too long to sit down and watch them from beginning to end with the amount of time that they have to do that. The series. So he's watching full episodes, but my brother's like picking ones that he feels like Logan needs to know to know the universe of Star Trek, so they can watch all the movies and stuff. But you know, Logan was the first, when Logan was 2 days old, I think my brother was reading Lord of the Rings to him. So yeah, so Logan has grown up very much absorbing my brother's loves of well, Tolkien, and you know, and then Star Wars and Star Trek and all that stuff, and Marvel Universe and all the things that my brother has always loved. So anyway, big congratulations to him. I cannot believe he's going to be in high school next year. He's still homeschooled, and that isn't going to change, but he's technically going to be a high schooler, so I'm sure that his curriculum will change a little bit, and it'll be even more self-directed, I think that's what I meant to say. he's just an amazing young man, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what he does in the world. I could imagine so many things that he would be good at research, and he's an amazing artist. So, you know, I could totally see him being an animator. Who knows? Who knows what his path holds? I don't even know what's in his head at this point, but I'm excited to see that. So that was on a very positive note. On a not as happy note, my brother and his family this week had to say goodbye to their very beloved cockapoo, Boo. I started thinking about it and I tear up because she was such a sweet girl. She was 16. As Stacy has said, she was her first baby. They got Boo before they were even married. After they had moved into their first apartment together, Aaron had to go on a business trip shortly after that. And when he came back, Stacy's like, "You're not going on another business trip until I get a dog. I need somebody here when you're not here," kind of thing. Because she was just really lonely. So they got Boo, and Boo has been the best kind of dog you could ever hope for. But you know, she was 16. She was developing doggy dementia, and the last couple months has gotten worse. And they had several difficult discussions with their vet. And then this past week, in fact, I was talking to Aaron and Stacy about it this weekend, that they were like, you know, we're gonna have to really think about making the difficult decisions for her. And then Monday, she just was in so much pain, like she couldn't even like get down the stairs to go to the bathroom. And she was like growly and snappy, and just, you know, the doggy dementia affects dogs so, I mean, differently for each dog, but some dogs, it's just, they're so unhappy and confused. She had really bad sundowner syndrome. So 3 o'clock in the afternoon, she was just bothered by everything. She always wanted to eat because she would forget that she just did. So yeah, it was bad, and they had to make that decision. So Thursday that happened. Everybody is really sad about it. You know, hard for the kids to have to lose a pet. It's not the first time they've lost a pet, but it's the first time they've lost a pet that had been in their lives, their whole lives, for all of them. So yeah, so that was really sad. So our family is missing one of its fur babies, and we're all gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss her. Every time I went over there, she always knew me and came up and was so excited, and always slept with me. When I slept on the couch, Boo was either at my feet or on my hip, or, you know, I would sit down on the couch, she'd be in my lap, which always made me feel good, because it just, you know, it makes you feel really nice when an animal enjoys you, you know, and likes you. So they are taking comfort in Nala, the dog that they still have. But everybody is in a little bit of mourning, missing Boo, or Booberry as I would call her, but her name was Boo. It's after Monsters Inc. Boo, because she was a little black-haired beauty. Okay, so boy, it's 23 minutes. I haven't shown you a single bit of crafting. Thank you guys for coming onto my channel and actually just enjoying spending time with me. That actually means a lot. So as I said, I don't have any little golden book, anything to show you, but stitching, I have significant stuff to show you, including two finishes. So the first one, no surprise, because I was so close to this last week, but I did finish my blue jay. That is a bird I was gonna say I was making, but I have made for my friend Tracy. So that just needs to be ironed, and then I can pop it in. I'm going to use one of those rubberized frames because that's what I did for the last one, so it will match, and I can get that out to her. So I think it turned out really, really pretty. I don't think that these patterns are quite as nice as the Crosswing collection pattern that I did for the chickadees that I did last year for her. I just think the Crosswing collection patterns were just a little bit more detailed. But I still think that this looks really nice. So the next one I think I'm scheduled to stitch for her is a cardinal. And there was a cardinal that was in this book. But I don't know. I might look and see if there's something better on the Crosswing collection, because she does want the ones that are realistic looking. But yeah, so I just have to make that decision, and then eventually, probably before the end of the year, I'll start another one for her, unless she does decide that she wants me to do a Chatelaine. Although I still am going to do the birds for her, so it doesn't matter. I can work on more than one project for her. But anyway, Blue Jay done. So yay. Okay, the second finish was a start and finish, or so a SAF this week. So no surprise to you guys that have watched me the last couple of weeks, I have been Chatelaine obsessed. That hasn't changed much. I have not been on the website all week or anything like that. I basically have ordered everything I'm gonna order, except for now that I did this one, I want to get a couple more of the small ones, but we'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, so this week so I'm waiting now for kits from European Cross Stitch for actually 4 projects, I guess, 4 small projects. I have the 2 workshops. I have the Jessica Stitches and the Algerian Eyelets. I'm waiting for that. I decided to do a beaded tile. So I got the Dragonfly beaded tile pattern. And then I think I told you guys last week, I found that green lace garden pattern, which is still a smaller pattern. She considers it a midi. And I'm just really excited about that too. But it seems that the European Cross Stitch is taking, even though there's no Glorianas in it, I still think it's taking like a month and a half to get stuff from them. So I'm trying to be patient. That beeping, if you just heard that, I got a very inexpensive fire tablet, specifically for working on the Chatelaines. Because I've never worked from a device before. I've always used paper, but I do need the device because I need to blow up the patterns, and blowing up printing, I don't have the capability to do that, so it's clean and neat. And not blurry. So yeah, so I did actually get a couple things to facilitate working on the Chatelaines. One is I got that tablet. The other is I got a little cushion to hold the tablet, because you know I stitch either lying or sitting up on my my day bed. So I got this, you know, little, and I had thrown it over there. I wish I hadn't now. Yeah, I can't reach it. It's like a tent shape, and it's a cushion, and it has different like slots, so you can angle the things at a different direction. But I was using it this week, and I realized it's also really good. I can lay my flosses over it. I can put my scissors on it. So it's a good like holder for all the project components. So this is a Martina's Roses, which is, it originally I think was a free pattern. Now it's like $5. So I was able to do it in like 2 days of stitching, 2.5 days of stitching. So technically it's my first completed Chatelaine. I did make a couple changes. It's all the call for colors except for 2 of the greens I didn't have. Well, actually I didn't have 1 of the greens, so I substituted 2 of them so that they kind of went well together. And then I did not have a Rainbow Gallery Gold, which was what was called for, but I did have a silver. So I used the silver instead, and since I was using silver instead of gold sparkly thread, it didn't make sense to use gold beads, so I chose pink beads. But I think it came out really cute. It's funny, it's one of those patterns where when you're stitching it, the roses they look like blobs of color, and it's like, that seems weird. And then you step back or you hold it in the viewfinder and it's like, ooh, those are dimensional roses. So anyway, I really love it. So the two that I want to get, now, so somebody said, because I posted this on Instagram, and somebody said, I just looked on that site and she doesn't have the free patterns anymore, blah, 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 so sad. Okay, there is one free pattern. It's like a little gate, which is not really my style. I'm not interested in doing that little gate. But if you go onto the Chatelaine website, you can search by, like, if you don't know the name of things, like if you knew this one, Martina's Roses, you could search for rose or roses, and then everything that, you know, has roses in the title or whatever will come up, and this is also there. But the other way you can search is you can search by size, and you can go to the I don't know if it says mini or quick stitch or anyway, there's the smallest one, and all of her used to be free patterns are there. They're still on the site. They're not free anymore, but they're all about $5. So you could go and get a bunch of them for very inexpensive and get the PDF, and it's like a one-page PDF, and then stitch these little guys. So there's this one, which was, as I said, Martina's Roses, and then there's also somebody's violets and somebody's sunflowers, and they're all little like this, so I want to get those. And then there's a toadstool that's also really cute. So, you know, these will tide me over and give me Chatelaine practice while I'm waiting to get my kits from European Cross Stitch. So mostly this was just cross stitching and back stitching. There was one specialty stitch, which is the Algerian eyelet, which are very easy to do, and I love the way they look. And Algerian eyelets actually, I think, are pretty fun. And then the beading, so it's just a mild amount of beading, but it got me in a beading mode, which you'll see in a few minutes. So yeah, so I'm very excited about that. This is gonna come back in a few minutes because I have stuff to show you in the haul. Okay. So that was my 2 finishes for the week, which I gotta say, I'm pretty happy about those. Okay. So I also had 3 things that I worked on this week. I did work on tulips and fans, as I told you guys I would during the Zoom call. And I say this every time. The reason I work on this during my Zoom call is because the strength of readers that I use for life, for reading, for seeing the computer, are much lower strength than what I use for stitching. And, excuse me. And, oh, I hate when my bangs, like, separate. See? Hate that. Hate that. Okay. Stop looking at yourself in the viewfinder. Okay. So, yeah, so my stitching glasses are pretty strong, but I don't have to use a magnifier in front of me. I just use the stitching glasses, and that works fine for me for most stuff. But if I use this, I can't see the computer screen. So yeah, I have to go back and forth. But when I'm stitching, doing needlepoint or counter canvas, I can use my regular reading glasses to see. So this is great for being on the Zoom call. So anyway, during the call, I finished this box. I started this one, and then I started a little bit of the border because I was getting a little bit tired of doing all these little diamondy things. And let's see, I had people ask me what are all the strings hanging all over it, And when I'm doing these kind of patterns, because they are repetitive, I hate like starting and stopping the threads on these, and I know I'm going to have to use that thread again in the next box. I just don't know exactly where, and I don't want to count and mess up. So I just pull the thread over and park it, and then when I get to that place, then I undo it. It's very easy when you're on a mesh like this to do that, and then save it. And it doesn't make a big mess on the back. This is my back in case you're interested. So, Tulips and Fans from Nancy's Needles is the company. Highly, highly recommend, if you have any interest in doing counted canvas, that you go ahead and try it, because it is, it's fun to do. It's very relaxing. It's a little bit repetitive, but not in a bad way. It's repetitive in sort of a soothing way, and gorgeous. And then if you get the called for flosses, which I do recommend that you would get the called for fibers, because they are different fibers than what you may be used to doing regular cross stitch, and that's fun. It's fun to work with different ones. This one has GaRon watercolors, which is a 3-strand cotton, and then you use 1 strand. It's, I guess, the weight of a pearl cotton. 1 strand of it is the weight of a number 5 pearl cotton. There is a metallic, a rainbow gallery braid. This is the kind of braid that if you pull on the end, you're going to unravel it. So you do have to be careful with that. And then there's a couple DMC pearl cottons. So that is Tulips and Fans. Oh, okay. So the other 2 I worked on. I'm kind of happy with my progress on these. So along with being obsessed with the Chatelaines, I have also been getting more obsessed with my Mirabilia and Bella Filipina. That could possibly be because of the people that I'm watching on YouTube lately are very into, where's my picture? Are very into those particular designers, and so there it is. So it's made me very into him this week. So I did work on Ella, the Frog Princess, and I did regular stitching on her, but I also did a lot of the 1/1 skin. I don't love doing the 1/1, but when I start doing it, it's addictive because I love the way it looks. I don't love doing it, but I do love the way it looks. But warning, if you're going to do 1/1 skin or 1/1 anything, you can't frog it easily at all. So don't make mistakes if you're doing 1/1, because trying to take those out is going to kill you. Okay, so I did stitching over here. This little area of her dress is complete, and I did a bunch of stitching in her chest, which now doesn't seem like that much, but it is 1/1. So, and then got a little tired of the 1/1, so I moved up and started in her hair. And I would like to say like, oh gosh, no, her dress is like huge. So once I get all this upper stuff done, then I have a huge dress to do. But again, the dress is going to be a lot of like big blocks of color. So there you go. That is Ella. And really enjoyed working on her this week. Oops. So part of the whole being obsessed with the Chatelaine, the sparkly, and the Mirabilias and the Bella Filipinas this week got me really thinking about beading these ladies. And I've had in the back of my head, like, okay, I'm going to wait until the end to bead everything. And then I started thinking about it, and it's like, you know, I don't want to wait. I want to start doing some of the beading now. I was like into it. And yesterday I just really wanted to do it. So I have a set of, and I'm gonna kind of do a quick little commercial here on these because, you know, I'm not a big, I almost said bigly experienced. I am not a very experienced user of scroll rods. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But I did get a set of these and actually just ordered a second set because these are the Edmonds Handy Clamp scroll rods. So I got this set off of Amazon. I want to say it was between 60 and 70, like 62, something like that. I saw the exact same set because I was thinking like I kind of wanted another set, and so I was thinking about Amazon. I looked on Joann's because I think they have them, but they're more expensive. But if you have a coupon, you could get the 20% off. But then I saw the exact same set on eBay for $40 free shipping. Well, actually it was like 40, it was 40 something, and then 10% off and free shipping. So I just got them because I like them. So the full set, so you can get like individual rods and stuff. It's basically like a, you know, a Q-snap. The full set comes with 3 sets of rods, 3 different sizes. So this is an 8-inch, and I think it comes with a 14-inch and a 20-inch, I think. And the clamps. And then it comes with 2 sets of stretchers. It comes with 6-inch and 8-inch stretchers. And then the knobs. So basically, I think that this is a great, for me, scroll frame set because you don't have to leave them in the scroll frame. It's not as much of a pain to take them out because you don't have to sew your fabric. You don't have to put it through a split rod. You don't have to Velcro anything. It's a handy clamp. It clamps just like a Q-snap. So I have one set, I think the medium length rods and the wider length stretcher bars. I have the Northern Expressions Twisted Rainbow Sampler on that, and I haven't taken it out. But I used the 20-inch rods and the smaller stretchers yesterday to put my Autumn Equinox Pixie on, because if I'm gonna bead, then I have to, when I do other stitching on her, if it's not finished, or even if I'm beading something that's large that's gonna take several sessions, you can't put it in a Q-snap or a hoop that will cover the beading. I mean, if you have something that's in a hoop that you're beading and everything stays within the hoop, that's fine. But if you need to move whatever the system is, then you need to have something that isn't going to crush the beads. So anyway, so I tried out this system and it works really well. I don't know if I'm going to leave this on. I may leave it on for a little bit so I can bead some more on it, but I can take it off really easily if I want to use the system for something else. Okay, so I beaded on my Autumn Equinox Pixie. Let me show you the picture. Ow. So as I said, originally I thought, okay, I'm gonna wait until I get all the stitching done on these, and then I didn't want to wait. So this is my Autumn Equinox Pixie. So the stitching I have done on her, I have her head, but not all this stuff up here. And I have her body like to right about there. So I have this whole skirt and her legs and everything still to do. But I didn't care, I want to bead. So I beaded her bodice and her head and this thingy. And I even put the treasures of the leaves. And oh my God, is she not gorgeous? It was so fun doing the beading. I hope you guys can see that light-wise. Then I did some stitching on her as well. I stitched some more on her wing and all this. But, oh, doing that beading was fun. And I just love those leaves in her hair. So I got her this blossom thing that wraps around her. There's a treasure that goes right there, but it's a little bit bigger. It's a bicone. These are flatter, so I just thought I'd wait on the bicone a little bit. So yeah, so I really enjoyed doing the beading on that. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna do more beading as I go along. Not 100%, but you know, I'll get in a mood like I did yesterday, and then I'll do a section. Okay. Okay, hold on. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that interruption there. Now I'm gonna have to edit, which I hate. But okay, so I showed you my beading, and that was it. That is the whips that I worked on this week. I'll show you again because I love it, love it, love it. Oh, baggy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. He was saying hi. Okay, so plans for the coming week and month and day, more of the same. I know I have kind of leading up to the last month or so, I've been doing like themes for the month, and yeah, I'm not feeling that right now. It worked really well for me last year and the beginning of this year. Right now, I'm just kind of in a stitch what you're feeling kind of mode. And come here. Oh, and Kitty wants to say hi. I was saying yesterday, I'm very, very lucky as far as Baggy is really not interested in my stitching at all. Like, he's never tried to eat thread or messed with needles or messed with a project. So I'm really lucky in that way. Knock wood. Knock wood. I think if I had something like this out, he might try and scratch it, but I don't leave it out. So that's a non-issue. The only time he's really interested in my stitching or mad at my stitching is when I'm lying there. And you know, when I'm lying down and I'm stitching, I'm kind of propping, I usually stitch in a hoop, so I prop the hoop kind of on my chest and stitch. And sometimes he wants to lay right there, and so then he doesn't like the stitching so much because it's like taking the place that he wants to occupy. So that can be a challenge, but that doesn't happen that often. Most of the time he's content to lie next to me or on top of my head or something like that. Okay, so plans, more the same. I'm probably going to be stitching on all my pretty ladies. I don't have any plans to start, you know, another small Chatelaine or anything. I do have the lemons and the Italian street cats to complete. So I don't have any plans to start a small Chatelaine, but that doesn't mean I won't. So this kind of goes along with that. I've been thinking about like my whip list, and I was very interested to learn how many people commented that they do like to look at the description box. So that was like 2 videos ago, that you guys do look at this description box and the stuff I put in there. So it's good to know that I'm not making that list for no reason. I did need to kind of condense stuff. So what I did basically is I took out the threads. I left the fabric because the fabric tells you fabric count and color if it's like a hand dyed and stuff like that, and I think that's a little bit more pertinent information than saying, you know, threads from stash or called for DMC or whatever, that kind of thing. If there is a specific color or floss or something that you guys want to know about on a project, of course you can ask me. But for the most part, on bigger patterns, like, you know, like a Bella Filipina or a Mirabilia or a Haid or something like that, I'm going to use the called for. They're mostly DMC. If it's a smaller pattern, I'm more likely to just grab from stash. If it has a DMC list, then I'll use what I have, and if I don't have it, oftentimes I'll just find a substitute. And then other types of patterns I will often use just over dyes I have in my stash. But I took out that floss information and left everything else. But along those lines, I was looking at my floss, my whip list, and thinking about how my tastes have changed, you know, in the last couple years. Because again, I only started stitching in 2019, so I'm coming up, I just passed like 3 years of stitching. And when I first started stitching, and I started my FlossTube very soon after stitching, and doing a FlossTube, first of all, being kind of an obsessively crafty person, like, oh, you got into it and you want all of the things. So that is a factor, and the factor that I started doing FlossTube and wanted to have content to show everybody and everything. I got a lot of stuff, and I started a lot of things that were my taste at the time, but aren't perhaps my taste now. Because, you know, it's an evolution, and there are still lots of things that I got or that I started that I really like them, but the desire to stitch them is not as strong. And I've talked about the process versus project and how I'm like 75% process, 25% project. I was talking about that on the Zoom call as well. I will never start something feeling blasé about whether or not I finish it. I have no compulsion to finish things in a certain amount of time, but I'm not going to start something thinking like, yeah, if I finish it, yeah, if I don't, you know. Which is why I won't start a bunch of full-size Haids, because I am realistic about my life length, expectation of life expectancy, and, you know, obviously I will not be able to finish like 5 Haids. You know, I mean, I can do math, and if you figure out the number of stitches and you do that, if I stitched 100 stitches a day, every day, it will take this many years. Well, you know, when you start doing those, you know, I'm not going to live to be 150. So although once I finish a project, I don't have any like burning like need to like get it completely finished and up on my wall or anything like that. I have lots of things that are kind of just sitting here waiting till I get around to doing it. I don't want to start anything without the expectation of finishing it. So I don't know if any of that makes sense. But so I was going through my whip list, and there's certain things that, although I really like them, I'm like, I don't feel the need to stitch on them anymore, and I don't know if I want to keep them. So I came across one pattern in particular, and I started this, and again, I love the pattern. I think it is adorable. It is the With My Needle and Thread. That's Brenda Gervais, right? Yeah, Brenda Gervais. Spring Fling. And I got this because I really wanted this. Right? Really wanted this. In fact, I think this had just come out when I first started stitching. I think maybe it came out in market like that year, 2019. I could be wrong. Let me see. Does it say? Yeah, copyright 2019. So I think this came out like right when I started stitching, you know, Black Cat, and it's just adorable, right? And then I found out, oh, there's 2 companion pieces. There's a snowman, and then there's Spring Fling. So this one came out in 2018. And then this one came out in 2019, and I really wanted this one, and I thought, oh, cool, it's a set, and I got this one. Now, I am the kind of person, and I was talking about this with my friend last week, because we got bagels for breakfast. And I asked her, I go, if you have a bagel, and you cut it in half, and you've got the top side, which has all the good stuff on it, and then the bottom side, which one do you eat first? And she's like, well, the top, of course, because it's the best. And I'm like, yeah, see, I always eat the top second. I save the better one for last. I always do that. And sometimes that's stupid because by the time you get to the second half, you're full, right? And then I will overeat, eat past my hunger level because I've left the good part for the end. Well, I do that with stitching too. So I have these two patterns. This one's my favorite. This was cool because it's a companion. I started with this one, figuring I'll do this one and then I'll get to this one. Well, I'm about, well, I'll show you how far I am on this one. I am this far. Now, I pulled my own flosses for this. I used the colors that are called for as a guide, but I pulled my own flosses. A lot of Needle Necessities Threadworks, Color and Cotton for one. This is a Queen City Dyers. So I just pulled a bunch of stuff. So I have come to the decision that I don't really want to stitch on this anymore. I just don't. I mean, it's adorable, but when I get done with it, what am I going to do with it? First of all, I don't celebrate Easter even, so like, I'm going to display a big bunny for nothing? I don't know. So there's that. And then I love this pattern, but you know what? I don't really think I want to stitch on this one either. So what I'm going to do is I'm offering this whole thing as a giveaway. This is a 25 count thread that I'm doing over 25 count even weave. I don't know what the color is off the top of my head, but it is in my description list below. But I do know it's 25 count. It's really pretty. Excuse me. So this is what I've done so far on my stitching. My stitching is decent on it. You can throw this away. You can cut this off and use this part for small. I don't think you want to frog everything out. Or you can just complete the project. I'm gonna go ahead and include this little rabbit needle minder that I made. That was like a little flat back that I had that I just glued magnets onto. So it's a good needle minder. So you would get this baggie, the project, all these flosses, which I've marked pretty well. I think you can follow along what my thought process was. But you could also just, well, I mean, I guess if you're going to continue with the project, you're going to want to use my flosses, but but again, you could throw away the project and put these flosses in your stash. Won't hurt my feeling if the only reason you're wanting to enter into this giveaway is because you want the pattern. So I'm going to give away this pattern and this pattern too. So you're getting two with the needle and thread Brenda Gervais, really awesome patterns. A half finished project, which you may finish or not finish at your discretion. A big hank of floss and a mesh project bag, and I get to type something off of my whip list. So I think we will use as a code word the word spring, because this rabbit pattern is called Spring Fling, and we're going into June, which is the end of spring. So yeah, so spring, say spring. Let me know if you plan on finishing my stitching or planning on starting it over. I mean, it's on 25 count, so if you hate stitching on a size like that and want to do it on 40 count, obviously you're going to start over. Or you could do the 25 count 1/1, and then it would probably fit on the end that I haven't stitched on yet. Ooh, that would be cool. So anyway, that's what I'm giving away this week. Just say spring. Do not say giveaway. Do not say win. Do not say all of the troll words you guys know. Be over 18 so that I can get your address, etc. And then I will stick this in an envelope. I just got a flat rate padded envelope, so I think I can just stick it in one of those and I will mail it out to you. I'm going to ask if this is US only because of postage. This is going to require putting it in some kind of a package, and I do not want to pay for overseas postage for a package because that's like 20 or 30 bucks. So I'm not going to do that. So if you win, because I won't know until I ask you for your address, and then you come back and you're in Canada or you're in England, I'm going to say, sorry, this is for US only. So US only because of shipping. Now, if you win it and want to pay the postage, we can work something out. But really, if you want the charts that much, just get the charts because it's gonna be less than paying the postage. So yeah, so say spring, and I hope a lot of you actually want this. Not because I want anybody to complete my project, just because it's hard for me to get rid of this. I gotta tell you, it's hard for me to get rid of a stitching project. I feel very guilty, like I'm abandoning something, so it needs to go to a good home that's gonna love it, or get rid of it without me having to do it. And giving away the Gone Batty pattern, that's really hard too, because I really like it, but I'm trying to be realistic about what am I gonna stitch. And I mean, how cute is this though? But it's adorable. And if you get it and stitch it, please send me pictures, please, because I need to know that these babies are going to a good home, right? I do. All right, so spring. So say spring, and we will give that away next week. I think that's it. I may do this again with some other projects. I don't know. I mean, I have to go through my list, and it's not, I mean, I like everything I started, so it's not going to be that easy to just, you know, abandon things here and there. There's a couple projects that I think I'm going to be done with because it was like pieces, like the Shannon Christine mermaids. I had this whole idea for this huge project. I don't know that I'm going to continue with that because I have other mermaids that I want to stitch. But I did stitch 2 of them, so I think I might cut them out and frame them, put them in my bathroom, call it done, and move on. But that will happen later in the summer. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this sort of rambling FlossTube this week. I guess it's kind of in my mood. The weather today is weird too. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I hope you have a great stitchy week coming up. I hope a lot of you I really hope a lot of you actually want that. They're cute patterns, so even if you think my stitching is a bunch of trash, then the 2 patterns are really awesome. So say spring in your comment, and I will talk to you guys all next week. Until I see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Karla. Bye bye.